The Punished, not to be confused with The Punisher, is an attempt to ape off the name with its own story. Released in 2018, directed by Rene Perez, this is a super low-budget film on the level of Birdemic and maybe just as convoluted of a story. Right away is a shootout following this random guy at a factory, no context or clues as to why. So the first thing that you're probably going to notice is that there's a lens flare in about 70% of the shots in this movie. Little girl, don't go towards the gunfire, you an idiot?
Oh, gunfire, I guess that's my cue.
So it turns out the little girl is the daughter of one of these jobbers.
Raspberry.
The narration begins at this point, and this old broad with the hot assistant is the narrator throughout. A secret phone rings, and we get to hear the first words from our main character. The one that shot at the factory, whom I guess is our hero. His name is Wolfgang.
Hello?
Alles ist gut gelaufen.
Oh man, seriously, is that his voice? Is this a joke? I'd have to guess that this guy is either German or Austrian. There's a bit of Arnold in his performance, but somehow even wooder.
How did this happen?
I fell.
Afterwards, a little girl is trying to escape from the hospital. This is the first time the music becomes prevalent in the film. It's completely out of place, and it won't be the last time it happens. She actually manages to leave somehow. No one at the front door to stop her. She just walks right out with the IV drip. I can't believe she took that all the way with her and didn't get caught. See, the music would make you believe that the thing is silent, but in reality, she would be rattling around like crazy in a near silent hospital at night. Anyway, she meets up with Wolfgang right outside the hospital doors.
Are you alone?
Oh, this could have looked less creepy.
Walking is a lot more dangerous than wandering.
Yep, this is the level of competence we're working with here. I don't think I've heard the cut so clearly in any film prior to this. Birdemic was noticeable, but oh man, this gets mind-bogglingly bad. It has this loud hum every time the little girl opens her mouth.
Besides, I'm not wandering, I'm escaping.
She then tells him that she's escaping and demands a ride from him.
I have my reasons. Now, are you gonna give me a ride or not?
Not.
The out-of-place music is kicking back in again as the nurses catch up to Maria here. Now, Wolfgang and the nurse have a conversation over a cigarette where we get backstory on Maria that she's just super ill. We then fade to black back to the old lady who starts monologuing about what happened to her. She's an actual decent actress, hamming it up way too well for this kind of film, and I'm very sorry, lady, you deserve a way better role.
It's the deepest, darkest pain. And it's all because of those filthy animals.
We find out that her grandson was killed by a stray bullet, and she can't let go of the guilt and pain. This is literally the only good scene in probably the entire movie. From here on out, it gets strange. Wolfgang is back at the hospital with narration telling us his inner thoughts.
As this is his first attempt at being kind, he's understandably nervous. What will she think?
It's hard to tell if it's actually his inner thoughts or not, or probably just random narration to make the story slightly less confusing. We find out that Wolfgang is in Redding, California, and sometimes even Wolfgang's dialogue has that hum to it. Where they did the ADR was not a suitable location. They had a fan going on or something. They need to turn that off. So the little girl wants out of the hospital and just do a bunch of fun activities. Somehow guilt-tripping Wolfgang into lying, and with no proof that he is the legal guardian of this child they've been taking care of for who knows how long, they just say fuck it and let him take her out. Even the narrator is skeptical and creeped out by the circumstance.
And so, this somewhat odd and technically illegal friendship has begun.
A guy at the hospital notices Wolfgang, I think, and tails the two to the aquarium.
Do you have a shop
Just
seat?
get in the car.
Our next character is introduced as the tour guide, whom Wolfgang pays $1,000 to use her for the day and tour Redding.
So your dad seems pretty serious about having you see the sights, huh?
His name is Wolfgang and he's not my dad, but he is serious. I've actually never seen him smile.
You've met the guy twice. How many chances have you had to see him smile? Just kind of ignore the fact that Wolfgang is not her dad and she's kind of acting like a kidnapped child. Meanwhile, Wolfgang appears behind the guy that is following them and lights a match on the dude's head. This fight scene is poorly shot, poorly edited, and actually it's lit fine. I'll give them a pass on that one. There are these weird zooms on impact though that are just, what the fuck? The tour guide is now getting impatient as her and the little girl go find Wolfgang in the parking lot as we get back to the fight where Wolfgang looks to kind of be losing. Although he wins, dictated by the plot, not without getting seriously injured first, and returns to the two girls. Kind of notice he's thrashed up a bit.
There you are.
What happened to you?
Are you okay?
I fell. But I'm fine. I have the rest of the money in the car. Let's get going.
Bitch, take the girl and run. This has bad juju written all over it. I got the rest of the money in the car? This dude is gonna murder your ass. Alright, well, she gets paid and lists off a bunch of activities to do in town.
We have a huge water slide park, we have a trampoline park, we have a casino, we have volcanoes.
Casino? Bitch, this little girl's not going to no fucking casino. The fucking volcano next? Get the perfect cure for your disease, little girl. The first thing they do is go to the water park. I'm not sure what disease this little girl has, but if she was stuck bedridden in a hospital, how is she healthy enough to do any of these activities? Wolfgang, I think you're being had, mate. We find out from the tour guide's friend who happens to be at the water park that her name is Elise. And then they ogle at Wolfgang taking his shirt off.
Is he married?
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm just on the water slide. Oh my.
Oh. Wow, Marie didn't even warn her. She got the fuck out of the way. Afterwards, more music comes in for a montage of the gang going down the water slide with the GoPro. After a few minutes of that, then they go down to the lake and a 5-minute montage sequence of them having fun riding this killer whale jet ski submarine craft vehicle, whatever. I don't know what to call it. We're 30 minutes in and the story has yet to develop. I can't tell which part I should focus on anyways. The old lady plot is completely separate from what is happening in Reading as she comes back around with her hot assistant wanting a petition signed about freeing nipples or something, some dumb fucking cause. This biatch delivers quite the smackdown and another great monologue.
And right here in the United States of America, children are sold as sex slaves. And I'm not talking about runaway teenagers turning to prostitution. I'm talking about little children held by force.
I didn't know. But I mean...
So if I'm going to put my time towards trying to make this world a better place, what should I do? Save the children? Or should I focus on boobs?
She then gives Wolfgang a call in which most of it is spoken in another language, so I can't tell you what is entirely going on. All I know is that Wolfgang got the data from the phones and is now in the woods with the two girls. I told Elise to run the fuck away earlier, but nah, don't listen to me. You're the one in the woods with a fucking creeper who kidnapped this sick child. Nothing really comes of this scene though, a couple of funny lines.
So Maria tells me that you're not her father? She said that you're just a stranger who's being generous with her.
Correct.
So you just decided to make another stranger's problems your own?
Yes.
Elise arrives home to her shitty-ass boyfriend. It might have been a good idea to cut that unibrow if you were going to be on camera, bro. This entire scene is just these two arguing until she realizes kind of what a shitbird the dude is. Although, you can't really tell what they're fucking arguing about for the most part because you can't stop looking at that motherfucking unibrow. Wolfgang, meanwhile, is at the airport heading somewhere. It's not stated. Well, it turns out that this guy is being held at gunpoint. These two here want to get into the safe at this old guy's house. It's a very poorly thought out plan. The guy behind him is the one driving over there instead of already having someone in that area. Oh hey, it's the mask from the poster. Okay, how did Wolfgang get from here
Correct.
to here? I mean, obviously he took the plane, but why is he here in the first place? Did we find out that information while he was speaking in a different language? If it was important, then why didn't they subtitle it? I'm not going to translate it if the movie isn't going to bother either. While Wolfgang takes out this jobber, choking him out in an awkward fashion, steals his mask, and then proceeds to have a very awkward gunfight with the second robber. It turns out Wolfgang is looking for this dude James Thompson, or Chains?
James.
I couldn't actually tell if he said Chase,
James.
Chains,
James.
or James.
James.
So then Wolfgang goes to save the old guy, and forces Oldilocks to murder the robber so he'll be forced to erase the tapes. That way, Wolfgang will have never been there, I guess. So Elise tried calling him during this whole incident and couldn't get through. She's in this random field and happens to be there when Wolfie calls her after flying back from wherever he was. Has Elise been out here all day? What's the time frame these events are happening? Why are you so adamant to take this little girl to do dangerous events even though she's so ill she has to be in the hospital? What is going on? This movie's not going to explain jack shit to us, so don't worry. Wolfie shows up and helps Elise find some dumb locket. This kind of reminds me of when Ted helped Robin find her locket in How I Met Your Mother, but that was actually built up over the episode, and this is some random bullshit to pad the runtime. Actually, if you took out all the scenes of Wolfie and Redding, you would have probably 20 minutes of actual plot. I think the production kind of ran out of script and didn't want to fill it in with anything good and wasted the rest of the budget on doing fun activities with the crew. And I guess while doing that, filming the cast as well. I don't even know what to call these sequences of events with Elise and Maria. They aren't for plot progression. They don't help to give character since Wolfie is just a plank of wood drifting in a river.
Never give up. Your dad may have been right.
Another scene with the old lady, this one with absolutely no relevance to what's happening, and then we're back again to Wolfie going to see Maria. This time, a not-so-dumb nurse realizes the illegal actions taking place between Wolfie and Maria, but somehow Wolfie turns this into a date?
As long as I come along to supervise.
It's a date?
See, I thought this nurse was smart, but never mind. She'll just become an accessory to kidnapping instead. Elise was already at the spot waiting for them, practicing talking in the mirror with a car seat. Unfortunately, one was already purchased by the nurse, and you would think jealousy would ensue, but really this whole scene ends up having them on more water vehicles. The two girls have a simple conversation about Maria at one point, and clearly it was recorded somewhere else with an insane echo. Just listen to this.
Let's just say...
After the dad on the boat, they do a few more activities with narration placed over it all. They go to trampoline world, then rock climbing, some putt-putt, go-karting, and whatever the hell these things are. Ending their long and exhausting day with some water yoga.
Back to the hunt. Back to the blood.
Oh, so we're actually back to the plot now? Well, these guys kidnapped this couple in the snowy woods and tied this dude up. They're gonna like put honey on him for the bears. See, I mean, I wish I was kidding, but this is their actual plan, and it's even stupider since they plan to use some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. First, they kind of want the dude to suffer, and they take his chick, they put her in a garbage bin, and then proceed to fill it with gasoline in a very awkward way that the girl should have easily escaped. These evil guys are apparently the ones that accidentally shot the old lady's child. It's not very clear, even with the narration trying to explain the story. So Wolfie comes in last minute to save the girl, and the guy tied up becomes a hostage. What the fuck, Wolfie? Well, the guy was a communist. Good choice. They run around the woods for a few minutes. Wolfie kills one and captures the other. I gotta hand it to them. They could have ran around the woods for half of the film. Shows a lot of restraint to not pad the runtime with running in the woods. Instead, they may have showed less restraint and padded the time with useless activities. I don't know which is worse. No budget or completely wasted budget. The old lady meets up with Wolfie so she can confront the murderer. She decides not to kill the guy and puts the whole bottle of barbecue sauce on him and leaves.
More? More?
You don't want to see this.
More?
You don't want to see No.
Barbecue sauce. Wolfie returns to Elise and Maria and they live happily ever after. Or so we thought.
There's a lot of bad guys out there. So many children are falling victim to violent criminals.
What do you want to do about it?
I've got the money, if you've got the bullets.
Like, Are you serious? This turd is not going beyond this. Get your sequel shit out of here. You don't fucking say. So that's The Punished, and oh boy, is it a steaming pile of shit. I had to keep asking what is going on more times than I can count on the first viewing. The ADR was incredibly piss poor. The acting was subpar besides the old lady.
In this world is safe from harm, then and only then will I worry about giving more rights to lazy, entitled Americans with frivolous causes.
Wolfie is a joke upon itself. He must have thought he was going to be the next Arnold, and there only needs to be one of them in this world. Elise is alright, and Maria is just awful. I feel nothing for this dying kid because I don't believe this child is actually dying. They give no indication in the movie that she could possibly die if she went out. It was also incredibly forced, creepy, and illegal. I wouldn't go to that fucking hospital if I was sick. They don't seem to give two shits to the safety of its patients. Neither of the two plots are good. Jumping between Wolfie's job and having fun is so tonally skewed. You almost get emotional whiplash. All in all though, I had a good time yelling at all the illogical inconsistencies and wasted potential. Grab some friends, grab a good amount of alcohol, and you'll have some fun watching this one.